Hello! Today we're going to talk about the 5 types of lines in art. If you do not have this Elements of Art bell ringer, let me know and I will give this to you to glue into your next available page into your sketchbook. But you're going to glue that in, and then below it you're just going to make a line across the bottom, trying not to write on any of the words that are already there, and also make a line going straight down, and then 2 other lines so that you have 6 boxes in here. So I'm just going to make a line here and a line here. If it's not perfect, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's just in your sketchbook. But we're going to be learning about the 5 types of lines. There's more than 5 types of lines, but the 5 types of lines that we're going to learn have to do with artworks and what they make you feel in works of art. So we're just going to write 5 right here. And the 5 types of lines. And I always tell you guys, make it arty-farty, so however you want to do that. If you want to do it like I am, that's fine. If you want to do it your own way, that's fine too. Okay, so the 5 types of lines. In works of art, you can see line is an element of art, so we use these elements of art in our works of art in different ways. And in works of art, there's a lot of examples of lines here, but the first one, none of these are going to be very unique to you. You've heard of them before, but you probably haven't seen how they interact with works. So the first one is horizontal. Make sure you write that in your sketchbook. If you need to pause the video and write it, go ahead and do that. Horizontal lines go straight across. So if you're looking at a field that goes on and on and on and on and on in the distance, and eventually you'll see where the sky and the ground meet, that's a horizon line. So horizontal lines go that way as well. So we're just going to write a few horizontal lines. Some can be wider, some can be really thin, some can be long, some can be short. We're just going to give a variety of horizontal lines, but I'm also going to leave a little space down here because we're going to write something later. As you can see, our example of horizontal lines is right here by Claude Monet. There is a ton of horizontal lines in here. The brushstrokes in the sky, there's the horizon line right there. Even the lines in the trees and the boats are all horizontal lines. There's marks in the water that are horizontal lines. So this particular painting, since it incorporates so many horizontal lines, it's supposed to give a sense of peace to works of art. So if you use a bunch of horizontal lines in your works of art, you will be trying to give that feeling as well. And I think he is successful in this painting. It just feels like it's 5 a.m. and you're fishing and the water's super still and just really peaceful. So down here, horizontal lines make us feel calm and relaxed. If you need to pause the video to write that, go ahead. Okay, so we're going to go to the next one, and that is vertical. We know vertical lines are going to go the opposite way as horizontal, so some really long, some thin, some wider, some short. Draw some vertical lines in there. Our example of vertical lines is here, Modigliani. As you can tell, Modigliani has stretched the neck and the facial features, and even has some repeated vertical lines in the background. He did that intentionally to create a sense of like haughtiness and superiority and just kind of giving this person a regal feeling. So, vertical lines in works of art are creating a sense of height and power. As you know, like skyscrapers are vertical lines, and skyscrapers have been known to be competitive and want to be the tallest skyscraper. So it's just like that power, that sense of I'm important. So down here we're going to put height and power. Okay, the next one is diagonal. Diagonal lines can go this way and they can go that way. And our work of art is The Scream by Munch. Edvard, there's a V, Munch. The diagonal lines you see in this work of art are a strong diagonal in the water. There's even diagonal lines happening in the sky. There's diagonal lines within this guy's body and in his hands and even in his face. And then the most important is this diagonal line, this really strong diagonal line that goes back in space on this bridge. And the reason why Munch painted this really strong diagonal line right here was to bring the viewer's eye back to these kind of two creepy figures back here. It's supposed to create a sense of uneasiness. Like, I would say that this is very successful in creating a sense of uneasiness. That paired with this red sky and the expression on this guy's face is just really making the scene creepy. Like, why is he running from here? Why is he scared? Just uneasy. So uneasy is how we feel with diagonal lines. It makes one really dark. Okay. So the next one is curved. Curved lines can look like this. Something like that. There's a lot of different ways that lines can look curved. So our example is here. You hopefully have seen this before. It's called Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. You see the very strong curves in the sky here, strong curves that happen around the stars. And even in these, this is a bush or a tree. Nice curved in the hills. A lot of curves are happening there. And this just gives a sense of movement, like trying to move throughout the painting, movement in the sky, movement of the hills. It just feels very flowy. So, curved lines give a sense of movement. We talk about Van Gogh and how he was not very popular during his time. He sold only one painting and unfortunately was just kind of poor when he was alive, but now you can't buy a painting for under $1 million of his work, and they're everywhere. I have earrings, there's mugs, there's notebooks, there's all kinds of things that have his work on it, and it's just kind of sad that he never saw that success in his life. But yeah, I do a thing with the kids, so I'm hoping this will work for you. We're gonna do a thing that creates movement. If you just stare at this in the center, until you start getting dizzy. Just stare. You can blink, but when it starts kind of getting swaying, then you look at this painting. Definitely moves on you. So it's just kind of a fun exercise. If you want to try it again, you can go back in this video. Okay, the last one is zigzag. These are zigzag lines, might look like this. Something like that. And our artist is Keith Haring. You can see several zigzags in this work of art. Zigzags in the background, but also zigzags of like their legs, and lots of strange things happening in this work of art. Very weird people. This guy doesn't even have arms. This one has way too many arms. So zigzag lines, when used in a work of art, are supposed to give the viewer a sense of confusion. And I would say Keith Haring's pretty successful in this one, definitely making me feel confused. A lot going on. So zigzag lines create confusion, and I talk about how we learn about historical artists and we also learn about modern artists. Well, there is a modern artist that goes along with Keith Haring that was definitely inspired by him, and his name is Mr. Doodle. So I show the kids Mr. Doodle. You can watch. I love that he still has that same style, was kind of influenced by Keith Haring, but has taken his own version of it. And he has doodled over his whole house. It's crazy. So I'll just let you watch. Eventually he does go outside, so. Yeah, I can't get rid of these things here, but he does eventually do his house. There it is. So crazy. I love it. I can't imagine being his neighbor. But hopefully you learned something about lines and how they influence your works of art.